Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. And I am just checking in on you to see how your week's going. And as you can tell, this is a videoed one, which means I have a guest, a special guest, which I only have. This guy is a multi-talented. He's like an old school triple threat. He can sing, he can dance, he can act. He can do, they call him Slash, but not the one from Guns N' Roses. This is the one from New Kids.
The Steelers.
New Kids on the Block. Boston's own Joey McIntyre, everybody. Here to promote a tour that you're going on.
Yes.
Let's do that first, and then we'll tell this sad story of how we both ended up in each other's lives. Joe McIntyre. Ladies and gentlemen, is going on tour. He's going to be starting July 7th through August 4th. Dude, you musicians, when you guys tour, you guys fucking go out there.
We grind.
Okay? This is from July 7th to the 4th. I'm not going to say all the dates, but San Antonio, Texas, Dallas, Texas, St. Louis, Missouri, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, one of my favorite cities, Wyandotte.
Wyandotte, which is just outside of Detroit.
Okay.
Like on paper, it doesn't look very sexy, but it's actually, it's
Wyandotte, Michigan. As we all know.
Wyandotte.
That's like a Jeopardy question. What state is Wyandotte in? Toronto. Going to take all your money, but it's going to be a great time. The fucking Canadian bastards. Verona, Cincinnati, Evanston, Illinois, Atlanta, Nashville, Charlotte, Alexandra, Virginia,
dates.
Philadelphia, and Hyannis.
And that's right, baby.
The Cape Cod Melody Tent.
That's right.
All right, little teaser. I might be in town.
Say no more, Bill. The red carpet. I'll send the chopper for you. Send it to Canton.
For old Freckles.
Send it over to Canton so you can beat all the traffic down to.
I know. Take the Bornage, you take the fucking Saginaw. So me and Joe got to know each other. We did a movie called The Heat.
Yes.
Way back in the day.
We did.
That's already back in the day. With Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock.
Yes, and some legends. I mean, I always talk about. It's sort of. It might be a bit of a stretch to call that a modern day classic. I mean, I get a lot of love from that. There's not a lot of classics anymore. Is classics even a thing in movies anymore?
I think somehow people got a little nervous, corporate lawyers, during this whole time of everybody getting offended, which became really a way to get attention.
Right.
To literally watch a movie or a TV show and say that you were offended. Like,
right. It's
funny how many people can get offended by that, but they're not offended on how bad they fuck over performers.
Yeah.
And what all these corporations do. You see all these people walking out on strike out here. They don't give a fuck about that.
No.
They don't give a fuck about assholes keeping all the money so they can buy another yacht. That's totally fine.
No.
But if you go out and you say some fucking joke or whatever. But I think all of that's kind of gone away. Like, I feel like
it's cooling off. There's a cooling off period.
I feel like it was a fad. Not being offended. I feel like people actually taking the time to pretend that they give a fuck.
Right.
Is going away. It's
right. They're using their energy somewhere else. But for a while, they really put a lot of energy into.
Yeah, like remember when they were making all those vampire and werewolf movies? They just kept making one after another, and they were all making money. And then at some point, everybody's just like, I'm kind of sick of these vampires and werewolves. So I think everybody's a little sick of somebody, with their emotional support turtle that they have to bring on the fucking plane. Like, I don't think anybody ever did care, but it was kind of like this weird period of like,
should I care? Should I care?
No, I just think everyone was trying not to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you started seeing people in the mailroom.
It's tricky out there.
Taking out the big guy up top.
It's tricky.
And you're going out there on tour.
I'm going out there on tour by myself.
But these are all cool
no one
cities,
to offend.
though.
No, it's good. But to just, are you saying there's going to be more comedy classics coming around the bend now because we're less afraid to offend people?
Especially one called Old Dads, which is coming out soon.
Yeah, baby.
Would you think you were just going to come in here and promote your project?
We're waiting. I was curious about that.
Well, I saw you the other night, which was probably 2 months ago at my age.
Yeah.
But I saw you down at the Bourbon Room.
Yes.
And you let me do the intro.
You did let you do the intro. You're a sweetheart. We know that, Bill. No matter how much you rant and rave, we all know you're a sweetheart, and you're never going to be able to hide it.
Normal.
You're not going to be able to hide it. So for you to say "let me," you were kind enough to come down, and of course I wanted to tweet it, but you're so cool. I just wanted to. Can some things just be private? You know what I mean? Do we have to post everything?
I like that.
Bill Burr. I didn't. I got you back. I got great footage of you introing me. So for the listening audience right now, Bill came down to my St. Patty's Day show and introed me, and it was freaking hilarious. Anyways, of course, it had a Boston slant to it, but you were about to wrap up. But my buddy on
that's
stage,
right. I was talking about your Puerto Rican mother.
My Puerto Rican mother. My band, my one-man band was out there, and he had to stall. He goes, something's wrong. We're not plugged in or something like that.
Oh, that's right.
So I had to tell you to keep going, and it was quite epic.
So was that show that I saw at the Bourbon Room? What that obviously this tour was in place. These things take a while to come together. So was that no? Oh, okay.
Well, the inside baseball answer, I guess, is that it was a little rushed. Most of the time, these kinds of dates you have to set up, but it was a little hectic because it was sort of last minute, but not. You got to find the right places. You know what I mean? I didn't want to, they're like the Bourbon Room, which is like between 200 and 500. I mean, the Melody Tent is 2,200. That's a bigger show, but
that's a huge place.
Yeah, trying to find the right rooms, and so. But I think what you're asking is it's that show. I was sort of workshopping a little bit as like a comic would do. I mean, I did like a handful of shows at the Bourbon Room to work out what set list this would be for me to take on the road. So.
But how does that work? Because that fascinates me. Mm-hmm. I'm not much of a singer. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but I know how I put together a stand-up set. So when you're going out, I would think that your fans are going to expect, some of the stuff with your other band there.
Yeah,
and then you're also doing like standard stuff that you wrote.
Standards, and then I have my stuff, and so it's a combination, and. A little bit of this as far as my year. I started my year playing an amazing show at Carnegie Hall in January. So I just turned 50, the big 50, and so I said,
50, you motherfucker! Look at you!
Oh, wow!
Look at you!
It's the
full head of hair. You don't have any booze weight. Take the compliment. Take the compliment. You have no booze weight. You still have a nice fucking chiseled jaw.
Well, I'm trying to stay on the liquid death like you, Bill. I know you. I know. You're one of those guys that like, you don't drink anymore. I got shit to do. You know what I mean?
No,
so,
I had kids. I had to stop because dude, I was getting fucking. I was drinking like an old school dad. I had the big bottle of brown stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching Me TV and Heroes and Icons, and I just kept hitting pause going, what kind of car did Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. drive in this? And Jack Lord, what kind of car was that? I was in my fucking glory, and I was staying up till like 2 a.m. Getting fucking hammered. It was great. I'm not going to lie to you. Being an irresponsible dad in that manner was fun for about 3 weeks, and it took me about 8 months to stop.
I identify greatly, and I think once you make the switch, you can't. I mean, the good news and the bad news is that I can't drink anymore, but then you're like, wow, I can't drink anymore because you can't recover the way you.
Yeah, I'm not like a full-on alkie, but I'm definitely I'm on the fucking spectrum towards full-on alkie. Yeah. So I just know how hard it was to quit. So it's not like I feel like the full-on alkies, the guy with the yellow fingers smoking the cigarettes and eating the donuts at the meetings, those guys, like they literally wake up like with
it's life or death.
The shakes and they're going to keep, they're going to keep going. Yeah. All I have to do is just get it out of the house, and then it's like 3-4 days of like, and then then I just don't think about it anymore.
I know. The get it out.
I definitely have a problem.
I'm with you, bro. I'm simpatico. We're in the same car right now.
Okay.
But I hate the idea of getting it out of the house.
I do
because I got a nice. You came over the house recently, but I have this little closet. It's like it's got a sink in it, and how can you not have whatever you need to make whatever you need, even for the guests.
I know.
But I'm actually getting there. Part of me is like, you don't want to be bummed out. You know, how do you balance the fact that like
you look like you could have like a glass of wine with dinner and then be like, that's enough.
Well, I am a lightweight, but I mean
I'm talking about your capacity.
Right.
I would never insult you like that.
No.
What last name McIntyre? I assume you can run the race.
I know. I really can't. No, I'm an absolute lightweight, but still, it doesn't matter. To each his own. So, you know,
what back in the day?
What was
back in the day?
Back in the day,
you're in your prime.
What was it?
What was your drink?
Well, ironically, I mean, it was only a few months ago, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I mean, no, I can't do it the same way. I mean, in Manhattan, I make myself my own Manhattan, you know what I mean? Right. It's like bada boom, bada bing, and it's, I go in the closet with the sink and I make the drink and I sit back down and life is beautiful for about 15 minutes.
Don't you find though, like even just the whole process of making the drink in a lot of ways becomes as fun as drinking the drink. Just having all the stuff.
Absolutely.
Doing the little, hearing that, knowing exactly how you like it, thinking about it on the way home, walking past family members that you're supposed to be talking to, making a beeline.
They call it the obsession, right? The obsession is the problem. It's not so much the drinking. So, the thinking about it is like, can take up a lot of space and energy. You know what I mean?
That's my part of my thing about whatever the fuck is wrong with me is I love the process. You know what I mean? I love the process of picking out a cigar.
You're like a Sixers fan. Trust the process.
Yeah. We're talking about process.
You trust the process.
I like the whole the cutter, the lighter. What do you light? I one time went down a rabbit hole watching. I can't find the YouTube video. This old guy did a whole video on the proper way to light a real Cuban cigar, and it was literally like he had a match and then he lit like a piece of cedar, because you didn't want to draw the flame in, certainly from a lighter, or from a match, because the chemicals that are on there affect the pristine taste of the tobacco.
Wow.
And I just sat there riveted, and I watched this guy. I mean, dude, he was just sitting there going around the edges of it and getting it going before he even clipped it. And he was doing that. I felt like 20 minutes. And then when he clipped it, he had the cherry and everything was just right there. And I was just like, I mean, I almost think that if you're like that serious about your vice, you don't get cancer. Because like cancer respects you. Like, okay, this guy's...
So and you're a cigar guy now. It's just like
I have cut way back.
Okay.
And recently a buddy of mine started smoking a pipe. And somebody when I was in Milwaukee gave me a pipe.
Bill, if you start smoking a pipe, man, I don't know, man.
We done? Is that the end?
We're not done. I just don't know if the world and your world and all your loving public would handle that. They couldn't. If you come out with a freaking pipe.
Everybody laughs, but then they smell the pipe smell. They go, "Oh, I love that smell."
It's gorgeous. So is in cigars. I love the small cigars. I love that, but I can't smoke. I smoke one. I'm done. I'm done.
I got them out of the house, and then what I did...
Get everything out of the house. All your vices out of the house.
Yeah, because I'm too old to get in the car.
Yeah.
To go to a bar.
Absolutely.
To go,
For sure.
Yeah, so sort of the last frontier is, because we got the kids are 6 and 3, so we have this cabinet that has all the snacks in it. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I had to finally give in to the fact that there's going to be snacks.
Right.
Okay, like a childhood.
For the kids, too.
Without, Fritos, Doritos, whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Cookies. So what I got now is I got like, what I got, oh my God, this is what it's like getting old. I have fucking raw cashews.
That's as good as it gets.
And I go down and I take a handful before I get into the other bullshit.
Right. That gets it going. That gets the appetite going.
No, that kills it.
That kills it.
So late at night, I
just
do a handful of raw cashews. Just the sadness of that.
Wow.
In pajamas.
Just to keep you...
I'm in pajamas, standing in the little pantry,
Keep your edge.
eating raw.
Something's got to give you your edge. Raw cashews.
No, dude, I've had like, that whole fucking bullshit East Coast. Oh, you got to stay back there and keep your edge.
Yeah.
They're really saying stay angry,
Stay angry.
like me and lash out at people around you. It's like I don't want to. I don't want to do that anymore. But I will say I still do have booze in the house, and I have high-end booze for when people come over.
Okay.
And I sort of live vicariously through them. Like a long time ago, I bought a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle's, which we just finished it, and I actually would get joy out of pouring a glass for someone who's never had it.
Wow.
Here's another thing too. I only bust it out for certain people.
What? Yeah.
You know.
What do you ask the
in,
wife? Is like, is he earning?
Yeah.
it?
If somebody
Should I pull it out? I don't know. Let's see. I think he's going to get a little pappy, but.
No, there's some people that they're makers. Some are makers people.
Okay, all right. Not everybody gets.
Well,
now,
even
is it like a spicy thing? Is it a knock your socks off? Is it burn your soul?
It will. I'm going to get another bottle.
Okay.
And you're going to come over.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pour you 2 fingers.
2 fingers.
and-
Neat,
and
neat, of
neat.
course.
Oh no, you would never.
All
you
neat.
would never.
No.
Do
Okay.
anything with this,
Okay.
right? And you're going to sip it, dude. It's going to change your life.
We're going to sneak into your kitchen and get a couple of.
You're
pieces
going to
of
buy a
ice.
bottle.
Yeah?
After this tour, all the
Really?
money you make on
Okay,
this,
okay.
you're going to go out and get
Okay.
that. There's another thing called Kentucky Owl, which was the last thing I ever boozed with. Was just, it almost makes you not feel like an alcoholic. It's so good.
It's so good.
Like the wine thing.
Yeah.
We know there's a whole all of
Yeah.
this and swishing it around and stuff. That and you're developing your palate for wine. You don't realize that you're a fucking wino.
Right. There's that. Yeah, there's that angle of the disease that you can think you're doing it, You
know that white guy, that big puffy white guy, and he's got like the loafers with no socks, and you see the fat starting to come out of the loafers. They're living that gout life.
The color of that curtain behind you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what his nose is.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, and he
God
knows all
bless him.
about wine and everything, and you're just listening to the guy.
His heart's going to give out at any second.
Yeah, you're like, dude, I don't want to ruin this field trip, but you are a raging alcoholic.
But they're happy. What about the happy ones? God bless them.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. If I never had kids or anything, I would have been one of those guys that just dropped at 59.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, they would have been like, and this would have been my eulogy. He smoked every cigar, drank every drink. He lived life. This guy.
Happy, everybody. Oh man.
All right, we got some reads for the week. Look who it is. Freeze pipe. Beep, beep. I can't make that noise. Boom. That's what I'm trying to do. Jake Al's band. Freeze frame. We get it, Bill. All right, freeze pipe. It's time to enjoy bigger clouds without the throat burn or coughing attacks. For the coldest and smoothest cannabis smoking experience, you need a freeze pipe, man. Bubbler or bong from freeze pipe. Why did it take so long for somebody to invent this? This is fantastic. Included on every piece is a freezable glycerin chamber that cools smoke by over 300 degrees. Pop one of these chambers in the freezer for 1 hour, and as smoke passes through it, it's instantly chilled for an icy experience that outperforms traditional pipes and bongs. I'm not going to lie, that sounds pretty amazing. Start smoking like royalty. Oh, what? Has the fucking royal family had one of these for centuries? The cunts? Start smoking like royalty without paying a king's ransom. I get what they did there. By visiting thefreezepipe.com and use code BURR, B-U-R-R, for 10% off your entire order. Once again, that's freezepipe.com. F-R-E-E-Z. Oh, sorry, The Freezepipe. Thefreezepipe.com. THEFREEZE pipe.com and code BURR for 10% off. Shop today and say goodbye to harsh smoke forever. All right, who's now? Oh, Liquid Death, everybody. I'm not just a drinker, I invested in the company. Liquid Death, you've seen Liquid Death at festivals, concert, bars, even on Zoom calls. I've seen them at my grocery store. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Their cold, tall boys of mountain spring water will brutally murder your thirst.
Their aluminum cans are infinitely... I don't even need to fucking read this shit. I drink it all the time. I just look at it this way. Would you rather drink a cold beer out of a can or a plastic bottle? Fuck you to everybody who said glass. I know what you're saying, all right? But I'm just saying, if you had to choose between the two, you'd pick the aluminum can, right? They make mountain water, flavored sparkling water, and they now have iced tea, 3 flavors. Grim Leafa, Rest in Peach, and Armless Palmer. Do not compare to Arnold Palmer. All right. Those cans of iced tea are healthy, not loaded with sugar. Iced teas have a microdose of 30 milligrams of caffeine per tall boy. They're also enhanced with B vitamins. You can get Liquid's Death's healthy beverages on Amazon or at a retailer near you. And Burr Tuesday listeners get 20% Tuesday, Monday or Thursday, I would think. Get 20% off their first Liquid Death apparel purchase, available exclusively at liquiddeath.com/Burr. Exclusions may apply. That's liquiddeath.com/Burr. All right, and lastly, but certainly not leastly, it's gametime.co. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have. Forget planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. The Gametime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Get images of your seats before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Tickets are sent directly to your phone so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code BURR, B-U-R-R, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BURR, B-U-R-R, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed, man.
No, so
I mean, let me bring this around back to my tour, Bill. Before
that's why you're here,
our isms. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, it is very topical for me because to do this many dates, listen. It's not heroic. I'm not trying to. But
dude, there's the troops, there's the first responders, and there's Joey McIntyre.
Thanking you on tour.
On tour. Yeah. Let's put this in perspective.
I keep saying it, and I want to balance it out, but I have to live like a monk. I really do, because if I want to do what I want to do and do it the way I want to do it, roughly, I got to take care of myself. I can't drink. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't. There's a lot of can'ts. On the tour to be able to can.
Right.
It's interesting.
I'm going to try to, when you have your first drink, I'm going to say right around Charlotte, North Carolina. I got 3 dates left.
That's good. Yeah, exactly.
No, the 31st. No, because then August 1st.
Yeah.
Philly's a great place to go off the wagon.
I know.
And you're playing a city winery?
City winery. I know. The key is to not drink after the show, because I think it used to be like, I just did the show, I can have a drink, but it's not just the drink, it's the get the drink, can I get the instead of just
where
going,
are we going,
and just going, okay, you did the show, you did the show. That's the thing. I mean, in what we do. I just said it to my buddy. It's like, I want to put whipped cream on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, it doesn't need it.
Right.
There's nothing, I want more mayo on the sandwich. It doesn't need any more mayo.
Right.
It's like, no, Joe, it's the sandwich is fine. It's like you just played, Madison Square Garden.
There's a bunch of young people watching this right now going, God, it sucks getting old.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that way. Even for my fans my age, I don't want to be that guy. I want you to come to my show and have 2 martinis and have the time of your life, and I'm still going to have it's like you pouring the great glass of scotch for them. You know what I mean? Right. You don't want to be a party. I'm not trying to be a party pooper. There's a bit of that, though. They don't really want to hear this.
No, I would never say that. I will say this. Something that a lot of people need to know about was you had a show. I called you when the show was on, and I wanted to do an episode.
Yes.
But you didn't get the second season.
No, we didn't get
He did a show.
Yeah.
What network was it on?
It was on Pop TV.
Okay, it was
just famous for Schitt's Creek. I mean, they aired Schitt's Creek. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you did a show called Return of the Mack.
Yes.
And it was you playing yourself and what it was like to be like this. You was a kid, became famous. There was what my favorite. And there was so many people. Adam Ray was hilarious.
Yeah.
Donnie Wahlberg was fucking hilarious.
Really funny.
Like
Jamie Denbo played the.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
Which we met her on the Heat. She's a genius.
Yeah.
It was so goddamn
I lucked
funny.
out. I got to produce an EP like 8 episodes.
But dude, you were hilarious, and
Yeah.
I loved how. And this scene, I remember asking, I was like, dude, is that like a thing? And basically this running sort of joke that you guys never really addressed, but you either figured it out or you didn't, was that women of a certain age that had a crush on you and are now in their 50s come up to you and sort of borderline assault you, like getting free feels and everything. And you would always play it up like, oh, thank you. They're like touching your chest and everything. And I remember asking you, like, that's like sort of a thing.
There's a demo. Depends on.
Did you hear what he said there? He goes, there's a, like, I have to walk the line here because these are loyal fans that buy tickets.
No.
You sort of get groped.
It depends on how many martinis they've had. Certainly. No, my fans are great, but yeah, that can happen. Depends on where they are in the night.
I don't think Bill Clinton could have answered that question better.
Thank you.
You just went right through that minefield.
Listen,
Let me ask you this: do you ever have nightmares about the color women's teeth turn when they've drank too many red wines? You know that gray with
and
the
then
red
it's around
between
their lips too.
Yeah,
and
when
they
you
can't
see
really
that,
talk.
Yeah, it's like a land shark coming
I
at
make
you.
a beeline for the other side of the room. Try to. No, I got great fans. So the great majority of my fans do not grope me, and they're very respectful, and we have a good time.
But it happened enough that it was a running joke. Maybe you were exaggerating, but I thought that was so fucking funny. I watched every episode of that show.
Thank you.
And
thank you. It's good.
And
time.
I've been working with Adam Ray. I still want to, like, I write stuff all the time, and I'm always thinking, you think Donnie Wahlberg would do this? Because I thought he was so fucking funny in it.
I know. He was very. He and Jenny were the other producers on the show, and they came up big. Yeah, they came up big for me, and they did vignettes every episode, and I called Donnie for advice. You know what I mean? And he'd come up with these lame puns. You know what I mean? Just that working class mentality. Take the gig, don't worry about it. And I'd be like, hey, you want me to do this, Donnie? And he'd, make some joke. But yeah,
I love it. And
great.
The last thing that, we've been talking about all this stuff, and we haven't gotten to the real issue that makes us avoid eye contact is,
exactly.
Did you watch the Celtics?
Yes, of course.
Game 7 against the Heat? Did you happen to catch that?
It was,
was that an important game? I can't remember.
I haven't watched sports since, and I've turned everything off. And
you can't go on the internet.
Why?
Because that's just going to be like.
At least I know. I think Reggie Miller. He was commentating. I mean, he was the one guy who kept pointing out that Tatum got injured the first minute of the game. Now, I think we didn't have a coach with the experience / guts to sit his star player.
I know.
And Tatum wasn't going to take himself out. I mean, listen, it's our team. They're amazing. It's hard to root for them because they really were so up and down, and it was not cohesive. And
but dude, this is what happens on the way to winning a championship. Is you got to lose some heartbreaking Game 7. Cal Silver. Why do you think Miami's fucking winning? I mean, that guy, those guys have experienced everything. They're a fucking amazing franchise. And I'll tell you what's wrong with the fucking NBA. Is I've had like a half dozen of my friends going, oh my God, Denver versus Miami. Who the fuck's going to watch that? It's like, why wouldn't you watch that?
Right.
You have an 8th seed that just took out a number 1, a number 2, and I don't know what the Knicks were.
Yeah.
And then you have Denver, who beat everybody in the fucking West, swept the goddamn Lakers. They deserve to be there. But the NBA has built their brand on these super teams and sort of like these super team cities where I wish, and I hope that they're going to get back to this, because I feel like this is the highest level of talent that's ever been in the NBA, because now it really is global now as far as where they're getting them. But like, I wish it was more like the NFL, where it's like, I don't give a fuck who's playing in the Super Bowl. I'm excited to watch it,
Right.
because they've built their brand on like anybody. Like if the Buffalo Bills were in the NBA, they would have to leave Buffalo. Like it just wouldn't. It's like we're never going to win a championship, and they'd have to move to a city and be like the Clippers, and be like the ugly stepsister.
I think it is a strange phenomenon, and I think the more we feed that story that no one's going to watch, is ridiculous. But I think Denver seems like a powerhouse, and I don't know how they, but. I don't know if you talk about the Celtics on your way to, this is what you got to do on your way. But, I mean, is it going to be the same team? I mean, are they going to pay Jaylen Brown $40 million next year? I love the guy immensely. Didn't have a great playoff series.
So what?
Yeah? You still pay him $40 million because he's worth it? Okay.
You don't have an off show? I do. I never tell a joke that bombs.
Well,
but the thing is now, like...
But I was thinking of that because I'm like, I think you're very good at like taking people out that need to be taken out, but you don't take certain people out who are showing up every day and doing their job. I mean, yes, if someone sat there at my show, they'd be whacking me left and right. You know what I mean? Taking down, you did this, you did that. Oh, you missed that shot, you missed that shot. Yeah, if I
Why
go...
would you break the two of them up? They need, listen, they need, like, we can draft somebody. What I guess nowadays you just go out and go fucking buy somebody. But, like, you forget how young they still are.
No,
Tatum played 1 year at Duke. And, like, how old is he now? 24?
25, yeah.
25? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
And you think, is they keep the same coach? I mean, I just don't. No, exactly.
No, but that guy got thrown into it because the last guy was doing what the fuck he was doing.
Exactly. And now he's going to be coaching somewhere else. And we have Joe.
That fascinates me. He's like banging people's wives. Like, you want to take a shot at this guy?
Yeah. You can't do that here, but you can go to another city and beat us, with another team.
No, I'm just saying, what you're taking on when you bring the guy in. I don't fucking know. All I know is
it hurts.
The Bruins lost the Game 7, and then I was like, all right, I guess I'll watch some basketball now, and then
it hurts.
It happened again. But I don't, I don't hate Miami or anything like that. And I just stay out. Whenever this shit happens, it's just like, there's a lot of, there's a lot of people in life who don't have a purpose. So in moments like this, when they wait for other people to fail, this is when they try to fill up their soul.
Yeah,
so like, I'm just going to stay away from that because I don't want to, listen, I'm literally moving, I'm not even on the internet, and I'm just pushing that away because I just don't want to listen to like, it's just like the lack of, like you want your team to win so you can call the other team's fans bitches. And I have to be honest with you, is something that as a sports fan growing up, we didn't have to deal with because it wasn't the internet.
No.
Salesmen had to listen to it when they were making sales calls to the team. Like I remember I was working in this warehouse.
Salesman.
And somebody, when we were playing the Chicago Bears in Super Bowl 20, somebody just on a piece of paper, because we sent some software to Chicago, just
that
wrote,
said Boston,
just said, let's go Pats. Okay? And then, I remember what happened. Yeah. The order was fucked up.
On purpose.
No.
Okay.
Not on purpose, because they were so busy writing the fucking sign. Maybe they thought it was on purpose.
Okay.
They called up, lit somebody up, and then I just remember that we had a meeting out in the warehouse. No, I don't know who the fuck did this. I'll tell you right now. This shit in. I remember, the owner came out. And he didn't say anything. He walked, and you got the loading dock. He took the door and went, and slammed it down. This fucking dumbass tie and loafers on. And then
did he find the guy who said go Pats? So
all I remembered is there was
Bill didn't talk. I tell you that much. He kept your mouth shut.
I don't think it came from us.
It wasn't you?
I don't know who the fuck it was, but all I know is there was another guy in the warehouse that when he slammed the door, I could not look at him, or I was like, I'm going to start laughing, and I'm not going to be able to stop, and I'm going to get fired. And also, our boss was like 5'0".
Yeah.
So the whole thing, it was just like, it was like a Will Ferrell sketch, and he's fucking screaming and yelling.
God.
And all I was doing, I was just looking at the floor, and I was playing that I was like ashamed or whatever, but I was really just trying not to fucking laugh. So anyways, that was like the most you had to deal with now. But now it's like,
No, it's a dangerous, it's a bad neighborhood Twitter. Yeah, it's not. You don't want to.
What do you think? I feel like it's like 3-4 days, and once the next playoff series starts, then they start in on the other team's fans. And
sure.
Then
No.
the
The next 48 hours is crucial to stay away. That you gotta put the phone down. No question about it. And there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about it. It's done. You know what I mean? So
it's good, fellas.
Exactly.
It's nothing we can do.
It's the phone booth.
We got whacked.
Exactly. I'm glad I.
And that was us. That was us. Motherfucker. Goddamn Game 7 lost.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do. So listen, it was a crazy game. We got Game 6. I was happy about Butler. I'm not that kind of. I'm glad that he made the 3 shots at the end of the game. You know what I mean? So at least he did his job. But then we won, and then Game 7. Oh man.
I kind of knew in the first quarter when we got down by like 6 or 7. I was like, ugh. I never feel like when you get down 6 or 7. In the first quarter of a Game 7, I just don't. I'm trying to remember the amount of times people start coming back. Like the other team basically has to choke because I feel like you just start to get tight.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, this isn't going the way we thought. Oh shit. Oh god, this guy's on this. You know.
When you have your best player and maybe the best player on the court who's literally not taking an outside shot because his ankle hurt. I don't know. You're done. But also back to Donnie. Donnie's gone to a lot of Celtics games. He's a big fan, and one of the things is he went to the games when they were 20 and 60. You know what I mean?
Right,
so he's very knowledgeable. He's real fan and very knowledgeable, and always has a great take. And he should do more sports stuff. He's just busy acting and singing.
Busy killing it.
Yeah, busy killing it in other areas.
But I'm busy having a monster career.
Yeah, exactly. He said he was there. Courtside, he said, well, I probably shouldn't quote him because he's that close to all those guys.
Somebody who looked like
they
him.
were gassed. He said they were gassed in the first quarter. They were exhausted. But Joe, the coach, wasn't playing anybody. Pritchard never came in. You know, the other guys didn't come in. Bring those guys in. Have them mix it up. I don't know, for whatever reason.
I mean,
they look gassed.
He played the same amount of games.
That's what I said to Donnie. What I said to Donnie. I said, Donnie, you're always right, but I can't give you this one because the Heat played the same amount of games. However,
I mean, that's not a good excuse. We lost because we were tired?
No, but that's why the rotation didn't come in. Think of who they didn't play.
Right.
They played 7 guys instead of 9, 10. Look at Miami. You know, that coach had a lot more experience, but
yeah, I mean,
there's nothing we could
that
do.
was good. That was definitely gonna catch up with us. So it did, and it's painful. And
all we have left
is our tours.
I'm going to take it to another level. All Boston has left is Joey McIntyre at the Melody Tent in August. That's all we have left. Because the Sox
come out for healing August 4th.
It does have that
the Sox
Jim
have the
Jones
same fucking
vibe
problem that they've had for fucking 3 years. We got to score 8 runs to win a goddamn game.
Yeah. So
I still love the Sox though, and I can be honest with you. I kind of like when they're not that good because I feel like it weeds out all the fucking bandwagon people, and it's just like I love hanging in there watching game 48 of the year.
You can get a decent seat. You know what I mean? No, we're still selling out the games. You had seats for a little while, didn't you?
Yeah.
I
had him with Nate.
You and Nate,
Cordry.
yeah. How was
another
that?
guy on the Heat? Yeah, Nate. Yeah. Me and Nate Cordry, we split season tickets, and
it's hard to handle, right? That's a lot of games.
It was brutal because it was just we were both living in L.A. But but they just won the World Series.
Yeah,
we'll be able to flip these things and blah blah. And we lost a bunch of people to free agency, and they absolutely fucking sucked.
Oh my
god, I took a bath.
Yeah,
I took a bath, and he asked me next year, "You want to get Red Sox seasons again?" And I was like, "No, I'm good."
I mean, it's a full-time job.
Which killed me to say that because my dream as a kid was not to get into show business. My dream was to somehow make enough money that I would have season tickets to the Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox, and Patriots, and I would somehow not only would I have the money to do that, I would have the time to go to all the games.
You know what I thought you were going to say? I think that's an amazing dream, but I think a lot of kids' dreams growing up in Boston was just to be the ball boy of the Boston Celtics. Wasn't that the ultimate
ball boy?
Dream?
Bat boy was another one.
Bat boy. But there was something about the guy under the basket. You know what I mean? The ball boy for the 80s Celtics.
Plus, they were winning championships.
That was it.
Yeah, so
to throw the towel to McHale every time he went to the line, that was the dream. Didn't get any better than that.
Yeah,
I think that guy was like 53 at the time, so he wasn't really a boy.
Well, he wasn't gonna
give that job.
He wasn't giving the job up. No. He kind of hit it. You know, I had Don Gavin, one of the Boston stand-up legends, on here one time, and he went to like every fucking Celtic game from the beginning. And he was literally there before they won their first championship. Wow. Like I was literally, and it was so fucked up. I didn't realize that until the end of the podcast. Like I have to have him back on to talk about that. And he was there not only at the inception of the Celtics, but really the inception of the NBA. Like I think like the first year, you know, he started going to games like the Rochester Royals, which became the Cincinnati Royals, which became the Kansas City Kings, which became the Sacramento Kings.
Wow.
So I think the Rochester Royals, I want to say either they won the championship or Aaron, the St. Louis Hawks, possibly. I think that was in the middle, which became the Atlanta Hawks and all that. Not to show my whole nerd side here, that I'm into this type of shit. So, you know, he was there when Cousy retired and all of that. And, you know, the whole like history of the NBA was the Celtics beating the Lakers in Game 7 at one point, if you can believe that. Like Bob Cousy's last game was out at the LA Sports Arena.
Oh, with the balloons and everything, right?
Beating the Lakers.
Yeah,
in a Game 7.
Havlicek was in it, right? Yeah,
all of them,
Game 7. But the story is they had all the balloons in a net, and they never came down because they didn't win. They had thousands of balloons netted up in the ceiling of the Forum.
See, my whole life watching the Celtics and the Lakers is the Lakers have gotten the better of us. Like in, you know, up until
87,
84 was like back for 85 they got us. 86 they didn't make it.
I know,
to the final. It sucked.
Horrible. Yeah.
And then 87 they got us again.
Yeah.
And then after that, then it became like the free agency game. So hopefully, at some point we will.
Did you hit a lot of games at the Garden growing up?
No, because they were always sold out. So I only one time really? I scalped tickets.
Really?
And I went in town and they were playing the Pistons. I remember Isaiah didn't play, but it was the Bad Boys versus the Celtics. But Bird was there, McHale, Parrish, our original big three.
Yeah.
And Dennis Johnson and all that. And it was hot. It was like this, you know, towards the end of the year or whatever. And me and my buddies like, oh, we'll just come down here. We'll start scalping tickets. But like, you know, I lived way out in the suburbs.
Yeah.
You know.
How'd you get in there? Exactly. You didn't
fucking drank a 12-pack and drove in like everybody did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone was like fucking wasted just driving in there. But I went to way more. I was more of a Bruins guy.
Okay.
So I went in and like I think the first 7 games I saw at the Garden was Bruins versus the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh yeah.
Because I love the rivalry and I love the fights.
Oh, 3-4 fights, easy.
Yeah.
You were good for. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the first one I went to was a playoff game in '83 when we were the number 1 seed, won the President's Trophy. Fucking choked that year, and then we played the Canadiens and they just came in and that was best.
Casper.
Casper was. That was Stevie Casper, number 11, was still there, but it was Pete Peters. It was
Rick Middleton. Middleton.
Barry Peterson was on that team. Yeah. Peter McNabb, rest his soul, he just passed away.
Really?
Then when we traded
O'Reilly.
Rick Middleton, Terry O'Reilly, Wayne Cashman, towards the end of his career, Stan Jonathan. Those were the sort of the big bad Bruins guys after Espo and all of them. Was starting to get old because Terry came in after them. Yeah. Stan came after them. Wensink was already retired. So our tough guys, who the hell was it? Who was that tough guy? I think that was before Jay Miller and Lyndon Byers. It was Terry O'Reilly. Terry O'Reilly was the guy.
Yeah. I don't know who was between Byers and Terry O'Reilly, but
Tom Fergus with that wrist shot. If he could just develop that wrist shot. They say that. Mike Krushelnyski.
Right. Ooh, that was a good one.
Craig McTavish. It's so fucked up that Mike O'Connell and then Ray Bork wearing number 7. It's so fucked up I can remember all of that, but I don't care.
I remember how excited my brother was. My brother's 4 years older than me, and like that moment of when they they retired number 7 and he takes number 7 off, and Ray Bork's wearing 77.
77.
Now, that was the greatest.
Yeah.
That the whole night was a surprise.
Right.
Usually retiring the number is like, you know months in advance. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
He takes off the jersey.
And that was a vindictive move, I feel, by Harry Sinnen, that he gave out number 7, Espo's number, that quickly. Do you ever hear how he ended up on the Rangers?
No.
They were fucking drinking one night, and somebody said to him, I forget who the fuck it was, going like, hey, man, I think it was Cashman or somebody. I don't want to throw anybody on the bus. Said, man, there's Harry over there. He's got all this fucking money. You're one of the best player in the league. You should go over there. You should ask him for a raise and blah, 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 blah. He went over and he asked him for a raise. And then,
that was it.
3 games later, he was traded.
Oh, my God.
I mean, just think of how many we could have won and all that stuff.
And his brother was the goalie, right?
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony played with the... but more importantly...
More importantly, we're talking about the Guardian, and I thought about it recently though, because the new kids first time around, it was when the Neely years and the Bork years, and that when we lost to the Oilers. But
in '90,
what new kids?
Mark,
one of the
Mark
many
Messier without Wayne Gretzky.
Yes, one of the many.
Glenn Wesley had that open net and they fucking overtime.
I was there in the triple overtime, dude. I was.
You know what's funny is people go, if Glenn Wesley hit that, would have totally changed the series. It wouldn't have. They were just too good.
No, it's unbelievable. But as I say, if the red line kept going up the stands, my face would have been red. I was in a box. I was
center ice,
center, bro.
Wow.
And that's one of the many things that the new kids got me. You know what I mean? We're Boston kids, and here we are, like the Stanley Cup for that game, and. Around.
There was nothing better than that.
That was the greatest
thing. You know what's
thing
so cool though is that if you're like a musician, I feel like you can stay in like your hometown. You know what I mean? And like now I feel as a comedian, and comedians are showing this, where once you're kind of a draw, you can kind of make it from anywhere and live anywhere, which is cool because I can tell you like if I still, I mean I'm rooted here now. My kids are in school out here, so I'm not leaving. But like, once a year we go back for a couple weeks over the summer, and it's just like,
it's the best.
Well, just as far as being a sports fan, I've been living behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
Like I was in New York City during the whole the height of that Curse of the Babe fucking bullshit.
Me too.
And then right as I move out to LA, the Celtics Lakers out of nowhere heated back up again, and it's just like, fuck, here we go. Yeah, dude, it's just like, Jesus Christ. And then to sit there like when I go back over the summer and I see people wearing the hometown jerseys, like I have to remind myself,
that's how it is.
Like everybody agrees with me.
It's okay.
Good Bill Hunting. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Yeah, that you're rooting for these teams. So, talk to me a little bit more, like as far as like the show, like putting together a band and all of that. Like, do you? I'm
keeping it simple. So these are intimate. So I'm traveling light. It's more acoustic. I got one guy. So there's different colors, and part of doing those shows in LA was trying to figure out, am I gonna, like the Carnegie show was, a 9-piece band. It was a big deal. But these are, I want to travel a little lighter. So it's me, this amazing guy who does. Plays guitar, piano. I'm on the piano. We do acoustic. We do some tracks. It's a little bit of everything. But the idea is I get up there and I connect with the audience in a very intimate setting.
I get it.
Hopefully sing my ass off. And
you're gonna, dude. You're gonna crush it.
Yeah. So it's hopefully I'll live like a monk and drink liquid death and not.
You're gonna. We'll shake off this Game 7 loss.
Exactly. Slowly but surely.
Although this year this year we have to say which one, the Bruins.
Yeah.
At least I think what would be funny if we actually 2 Game 7 losses to the eventual champions, because the Panthers.
That's one way to go.
The Panthers are.
I don't think Miami has a chance against Denver.
I don't know enough about who.
Yeah.
I all I do is fucking bitch, moan, and complain about it.
That center MVP Djokovic guy is
I know, right?
Unstoppable.
I know. I saw somebody the other day was saying, like, Steph Curry is a better shooter than Larry Bird, which he is. He's the greatest shooter I've ever seen. But they're going like, I mean, Jesus Christ, he has like 9,000 more three-pointers. I want to be like, well, first of all, the first couple of years of Larry's career, there was no three-point line. And then it was all about feeding the big guy. It's a different fucking game. Jesus Christ. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It was
so. Dude, this looks like an amazing tour, and
Yes,
I'm
thank you.
gonna, my wife's the biggest fan. Like
I know.
She literally said to me, like, I can't believe
It's been too
She
long.
acts like she doesn't know you.
Listen, the new kids got some dates too. I mean, I'm lucky enough to be in a very successful group, and that's the balance of this thing, is trying to weave my solo stuff in between. But we do have a show at the the Yamava. They're like doing the ads. Have you seen them?
No.
You know this Yamava casino? I'm surprised they have a call. I'm sure they will. It's a new casino. They're having a lot of big acts. There's billboards everywhere. So it's the end of June. So you guys got to come out once and for all. It's been a while.
Wait a second. How far?
June 29th and 30th, and it's like an hour away. It's an hour outside of LA.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll make it happen.
And I'll
Whether
probably-
you're there or not, he's going to be there. How's that?
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about me. Although on Hyannis, I'm gonna do everything I can to come down. I love that. You know why I love that place? That's the one and only place I ever saw George Carlin.
Wow.
I saw him in the round. He fucking murdered.
It's a classic band. You still have like cover bands playing there, and God bless them. I'm sure they're amazing, but you have a great history there at that place. So I was like,
And they pack them in because it when you're on stage there, it doesn't feel nearly as big. I remember when I sat in the crowd. I remember when I was watching Carl, I was like, oh my God, this place is fucking gigantic.
Yeah.
And then when I was opening for the late, great Charlie Murphy, and I was working with Donnell Rollins on this Chappelle Show Rich Bitch tour, we went and played that place. And I remember thinking, like, for some reason when I saw George Carlin, first of all, I couldn't believe I was in the same place as George Carlin.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the way it is now, where it's just like famous people were like a million miles away.
Yep.
And if you could just, be in the upper deck, and like I just remember it just seemed so much
bigger as an audience member.
Yeah, and then there's something when you get up there, it's like oddly, it's still huge, but
Intimate, very intimate. Yeah, it is. It's a unique spot. So,
well, I'm looking forward to seeing you there, and
yeah,
I'm definitely going to catch you guys if I'm in town.
yep.
When you're out there, so it's the what's it? It's just the
Solo Joe, we call it.
Solo Joe. I like that.
Yeah.
Solo Joe.
That's a fan thing. Like our fans, you know what I mean? Have you seen Solo Joe? So I said, yeah, it makes sense.
I don't know, dude. I'm getting kind of like, when Rod Stewart started
feels?
doing like when he's doing like the classics, and that turned into this whole fucking thing.
Let's go.
You remember that when
I'm
you're
here
selling
for it.
out the fucking Mirage? Don't forget me, all right? All right, Joe McIntyre tour dates. We will have it up on the website. You got to go check him out. I mean, he usually plays arenas with new kids. You
Very
can actually
intimate.
come in, see him in this whole strip down thing. Like all these guys end up doing it. Rod Stewart, Bruce, you guys all end up doing this shit, and it's fucking cool as hell. It's a great thing for fans too.
Yes. No, it's a
you know what I like
different
about this? I don't know why I'm pointing at you like I'm being fucking rude. What I like about is if you really couldn't sing and really couldn't play, you would be immediately
This is the last place you'd want to be.
exposed.
Yeah,
You'd be up there with
you
the
can't
flames
hide.
going
Yeah,
out
no,
and fucking
totally.
Mic up here so no one sees that you're lip syncing.
Totally.
Yeah, this
totally.
guy is the fucking real deal. It's such a pleasure to have you on here. I know this
Bill.
tour is going to kill it. This is a great gift to get you lady.
That's right.
If the birthday's coming up, oh fuck, you know what? My wife's birthday's in a few days. Maybe I'll surprise her with some new kids.
I love it.
Huh?
I love
All
it.
right, Joe McIntyre, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Please enjoy the music picked out by the newly married, the newlywed, Andrew Themelis. Then we have a bonus episode of the Thursday afternoon just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. Have a great weekend, you cunts. Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, June 1st, 2015. How's it going, everybody? How are you? How are things? That is good. I apologize for last Thursday's podcast. I guess I recorded it in mono, which was just on, I guess, not stereo, is what I learned. I don't know if I'm doing it again because I don't know how to use my recorder. And I am currently not in the United States, so I don't know any nerds where I'm at. Where am I at right now, you asked? Où est Guillaume? I am in Paris, France. Oh, fancy freckles. Over here to get a couple of macaroons there. Steak and pommes frites. Bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Guillaume. Vraiment, maintenant.
Yeah, I'm over here. I don't know. What the fuck? What else am I going to do? I tell shit jokes in a mall. Government takes all my fucking money. I might as well blow a little on myself. I'm over here with the lovely Nia, and we actually just got here. And we're going to be here for whatever, 7-10 days. You know what's cool, man? I'm actually going to go to the Roland Garros, the fucking French Open on the clay. Going to go to a game at some point. Going to go over there, scalp some tickets. That's going to be fun, right? Talking to some fucking French scalper with this goddamn beret and his striped shirt. You really wish they'd look like that, but they don't. So we just got here to the city about maybe 40 minutes ago. Had a decent flight coming over here. It was a little delayed, but this guy in front of us, oh my God. You guys think I'm an asshole? I know you do. I know you do. I know you think I give Nia a ton of shit. This fucking guy was just one of the most horrible human beings. It was the weirdest thing. Like, he was walking around, like, talking to everybody. Just one of those older guys that just talks all the time. First of all, when he sat down, he's got one of those I lived a good life guts. Or one of those bodies, you know, where your legs and arms are the exact same size, like super skinny, and then he's just got this belly. And one of those people that starts to sit down, and then the weight of the decisions that they've put down their mouth just takes over, and then they just give up. They don't use any leg muscles. They just collapse into the seat, and that's what he would do every time. He'd go down about a third of the way, and then just free fall into his chair. And then at the top of his lungs would go, ah, when he sat down. Which to me was funny. That was just like, this is an old guy. He doesn't give a fuck. He's probably going to have a couple of something, you know, a couple sarsaparillas on the flight. But, dude, he was so fucking rude and mean to his wife. He was nasty. He kept telling her to shut up. Like, I tell Nia to shut up, and I'm joking around. This guy was serious. At one part, he goes, where are my books? And I heard her mumble something. I guess she said, what? And he just goes, my books! Like, yelled at her. And then everybody else he'd walk up to and be like, I used to work for this place, and we had a great time there. Gee, you're cute as a button. Fucking weird as shit. So we're sitting there and we're eating, right? Fromage, whatever the fuck they're giving us. I love how that's their idea of a dessert. Cheese. The fuck is wrong with you? Put it on a burger. Take this back and go put it on a burger, right? And then they have like a date, and that's supposed to be like your sugar. God knows, you know, that's probably the right way to eat. Who knows? They're all fucking skinny over here, but they smoke like a goddamn chimney. So I always think that's why they're so skinny. So anyways, I'm trying to watch a couple of movies, but my movie thing, every time I go to watch it, I'll get a half hour in, and then the audio gets like 5 minutes behind the movie, which I guess I deserve. That was my punishment for doing my last fucking podcast in mono, right? Let me make sure this thing is even recording here. Okay. So I started watching Capote with the late, great Philip Seymour Hoffman. That guy was fucking unbelievable. I was enjoying the hell out of the movie. First of all, because I saw In Cold Blood a long time ago with Robert Blake and somebody else. One of the most amazingly shot movies. Well, I guess Truman Capote wrote the book. God knows I don't read. So, but I knew a little bit of the backstory, and I was really into it, and all of a sudden the audio was like 5 minutes behind. So then I put on American Sniper! And I was really enjoying that. Bradley Cooper was great. He was picking everybody off. I liked how they had the soldiers seem to be talking the way they would talk, you know. It's a bunch of savages over here and animals, just the way you dehumanize the enemy and all that type of shit. I was enjoying the hell out of it, you know. And I really respect, I was almost going to say archery. What do you call it? That's with the bow and arrow. What's when you're good with the pistol and the rifle? What are you, a sharpshooter? I really respect anybody that is a master of anything, and weaponry. I think it's just a really cool thing. You know what I mean? Being a fucking sniper is badass. It's fucking nice throat shot. Just taking people out, controlling your breathing, and all of that. I was really getting into it, really enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, like the most, they're going after this Butcher guy. And when it was getting really fucking good, the audio kicked out again. And so I was like, all right, fuck this, whatever. I'm going to go to sleep. So I'm in the middle of sleeping, and I hear this glass hit the floor or something. And the guy had spilled his water, the nasty guy up front in the row in front of us, or he had spilled, his wife had spilled the water. And he just started screaming at the top of his fucking lungs. It wasn't like every word. He would just like the way he went, my box. He would go like that. He would just be like, oh, now it's all wet. He just would yell. I wanted to fucking kill this guy. It's just, he was yelling like he was walking around in his underwear in his own fucking house, and nobody would say anything to the guy, including me. I wanted to stand up and be like, dude, will you stop fucking yelling at your wife, you old cunt? There's other people on the plane. You nasty. God, he was fucking nasty. Mean son of a bitch. Then he goes to get off the plane. He's walking way out in front of his wife and that type of shit. Just a fucking asshole. Complete asshole. Other than that, it was a nice flight over here. So, Nia picked out this little apartment. Little is the key fucking word. Jesus Christ. This fucking thing, Napoleon banged somebody in this. Hey, I'm telling you, it's small. You know what I mean? No, seriously, it's fucking old as hell. And so everything in here is like, I guess whoever owns this, they rent them out. So everything is antique. He goes, these are real antiques. So he's like, these are very, very delicate. So you sit down like easy. The table, you set the bowl down easy. Everything's like, it's like, dude, what the fuck? What kind of fucking apartment is this? I can't sit down. He said, what's funny too, because it's English, he said the last person who stayed here was very strong, and they kind of weakened the chair. And I wanted to be like, you mean fat? But he was a cool guy, man. He's explaining everything. He's like, you use the stove, and here's the day, and he would go, da, da, da. Let's say yada, yada, yada over here. Da, da, da. And then you, au revoir. And so anyway, so we're fucking over here, and I'm psyched. My whole thing, it's my wife's birthday in a couple of days, so that's why I brought her over here. And that, when you're as big an asshole as me, you need to do shit like that. That shuts them up for a good 2 to 3 days. When you get back, you got a good 2 to 3 days where they're like, he took me to Paris. I'll back off, trying to change him or bitching about shit. And, and then it's all back to normal. And it doesn't mean shit to him, other than unless you bring it up, which you have to do. You got to be like, I just took you to Paris. Really? 3 days later, you're still bitching about it? I'm telling you. Like, you ever see like a boxing match where there's a bigger guy, he just sticks his mitt right in the other dude's face? That's what you got to do. You just got to keep that mitt right in their face. So anyways, why would I do that? It's such a nice city, and I got to take it to that fucking level. I'm literally laying in this fucking bed, this IKEA bed, next to something that Louis the 14th probably fucking, I don't know, banged some whore on. And they got, I'm looking out here, the rooftops. We got a 5-floor walk up. Each floor, the fucking stairs get more like angled. Like, you'd have to have like 20 beers in you for these stairs to look straight. Like a lot of these buildings over here are super, super, super fucking old. And they don't do anything to update them. They keep them all original. So they've settled for like 3 centuries. So it's really weird. But I'm up here on the 5th floor, and I'm looking out the window here, and all I see is like TV antennas. It's reminding me of that Flintstone episode when him and Barney were going to get in trouble, and they were driving down the street, and he was lassoing all the wooden TV antennas, by the way, off of the rooftops. So, anyways, whatever. I'm babbling here this week. I'm on vacation, and I had an unbelievable month. I'm still riding high on the whole all those shows I did in Boston. So here's the deal. I'm going to spend like 10 days here in France, and then I'm going to be home for like 3-4 days, and then I start another tour of the West Coast, and that ends up in Vegas and then Tucson. So I'm like, well, there goes my entire June. So I've been doing the helicopter lessons, and I was done. I basically been done with ground school since like February, but I worked a lot in March and April, and I was studying for the written part of it. So when I did the Southern tour, I really, that whole month I was studying for the multiple choice part, I should say, test that you had to fucking take. And as I told you guys, I passed that, and then I had, I was looking at my schedule. I had that run in Boston, and then my June was fucked. And, flying a helicopter is like anything else. It's like going to the gym. You don't go for fucking 2 months. You're going to come back sucking wind. So it's like, dude, I got to fucking put this thing to bed. So I was just talking to my instructor. I was like, dude, I got to take the fucking check ride this month. I got to do it. He was like, I like it. I like it. I like having a plan. Let's do it. So I just studied my fucking balls off this whole month while doing shows. I would literally be in the green room, like reading on fucking airspace and wind correction angles and all of that shit. So long story short, my check ride was on Saturday. And your check ride is where you sit down with the FAA guy for like an hour and a half. And depending on how you're answering the questions, depends on how long it is. If you're fucking crushing it, it's, it can be as short as a half hour. If it's a little bit longer, if you're not quite getting them, they'll talk to you more. And then if you pass that, then you go out and fly. And it's all these different maneuvers. And then there's this weird thing where you're either a fail or you passed a bunch of things and you just failed like one thing. Like if you failed your steep approach or your hover auto or something like that, you could pass everything else. And then when you retook it, you just have to do that one maneuver and show that you could do it. So we're coming right up on it. And they end up looking at my logbook and they realized that I was short on my solo time and I was short on my fucking night flying. So I had to go down there Friday. I was taking it Saturday morning at 9 a.m. So Friday night I go down there right around 4, and I just flew around the traffic pattern. I needed a 1.4. And I was flying around. I'll tell you one time I scared the shit out of myself. I was gripping the throttle too much, and I started my descent, and the low RPM horn came on. And basically, if that drops below 80%, you just fall out of the sky. So when that fucking thing comes on, like you just slam the collective down. And I couldn't figure out why it was doing that for like this split second. And I realized I had a death grip. Not really death grip. I just had it too fucking tight, and I just let go, and the RPMs came back up. But, I could have just rolled the RPMs on. I could have put it down. But, this is the first time I've been alone in the helicopter, and the low RPM horn came on. And, I was kind of like, I brought it in for a landing and just kind of sat there on the pad for a second going like, all right, fuckhead, don't grab on. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable experience. I can't explain it when something like that happens. It's like the adrenaline rush and you're slightly nauseous, and then you plow through it and you feel fucking awesome about yourself. So anyways, so I did all of that, and then we did, I got my points. I needed 0.7. So I had a total of 10 hours. I had my 10 hours of solo time, and then I forget how many hours I needed of night flight, but I was like 0.7 short, which is, I don't know, what is that, 7 times? It's like about 40 minutes. It means basically an hour, I believe, on the Hobbs meter. Every one is 6 minutes. There's 10 times 6 is 60 minutes. I believe that's how it goes. So anyways, I'm, flying around with my instructor, and he's taking me through the paces, and he's really, really a stickler, and just gets on you about everything. And I'm old enough to not be frustrated by it, because I'm like, I know this guy is being as hard as probably being harder than the FAA guy's going to be on me, which is going to help come game time. And so anyways, we did like, auto rotations at night, which is fucked because you can't see where you're going to land until you get down there. And the auto rotation is basically if you had a drive system or a engine failure, you use the weight of the ship to basically, and the glide, Jesus Christ, I can't even explain it here. You want to basically establish a 65 knot attitude, and the weight of the ship the air, rather than being pulled down into the main rotor, is now rushing up through it, and that's what's turning it. And you just keep it, you want to keep it in the green. And you can just bring the thing down and just like set it down on a fucking picnic table when you get good at the shit. I can't do that yet. So we're doing it at night. I'm fucking them up and everything. And I'm going, I'm going to flunk this thing. And my instructor's going, don't psych yourself out, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, I know I'm dragging this out. So anyways, long story short, Saturday morning, I'm going to take it. I wake up at like fucking 3:30 in the morning. I went back asleep, woke up at 5, and then I just, I went over everything one more time. And then I went in there and I sat down with the guy, and I was just like, fuck, here we go. I don't want to flunk this fucking thing and then go to Paris and ruin the first fucking day of the vacation moping around, ruin it for my wife, So I sat down and I had a really, really cool FAA dude, and we went through the whole thing, and I was getting a lot of questions, but I felt like I got a lot wrong too, but I got a lot right. And then he finally, and I saw he was getting towards the end of it, and I was just going, I was going, oh my God, he's going to tell me I got to fucking take this over. And, which is embarrassing because your instructors are there at the school. You're going to come walking out like, I failed. And, we finished, and he goes, all right. He goes, that was adequate. Let's go fly. And I was thinking, I thought that was horrific. All right. So we go out there, and I'm thinking like, all right, now I'm 2/3 of the fucking way there. So now we're walking out there. We're doing the pre-flight. And I was just thinking of something my instructor said was just slow, controlled movements. And I just made that like my mission statement, that I was going to fly controlled, smoothly, and as much as I can, just to demonstrate that I had control of the aircraft. And so we go up, right? And we start, and of course, it's fucking hazy as shit. It's the most hazy goddamn fucking day I've ever flown in. I mean, I couldn't believe it was still like visual flight rules. Like, that's how fucking hazy it was. So the first thing we're doing was we're flying up to this place, Rose Hills, to do these pinnacle landings, which is basically it's like, you remember in MASH when they were flying around the Hollywood Hills and they'd find a patch of dirt to land on? That's what you got to do. So you got to do your high reconnaissance first, and you got to be talking out loud, going, all right, it looks like it's hard-packed dirt. It's sloping down like 4 degrees. I got trees on this side. The wind's coming from here. Sun is not going to be a factor. You got to be saying all of that shit while you're maintaining your fucking altitude, which is, not going up and down and that type of shit, which is, it's not easy when you start out. So we started heading up there, and I lucked out. It was so fucking hazy. We ended up, he goes, turn around, take me to Compton. Compton has an uncontrolled airport. So I turned back around. I'm making my calls and on the radio, and I think I'm doing all right. And I'm thinking, like, I've never gone to Compton this way. And I know basically where it is. I fly out of Long Beach, so I know how to get it, where I fly, West Wardlow departure, and you follow this road, and you get to these oil tanks, and you bang a right. Except we're north of that shit. So all I'm doing is I'm looking for the fucking courthouse. So I'm trying to stay cool, and I'm like, if I can't find this thing, I'm going to flunk this fucking thing. And we're coming through the haze, and all of a sudden I just see it sitting right over there. And we did a couple of maneuvers there. At one point I was so nervous I forgot to do a clearing turn, and he was all right with that. I did a running landing. That one went great. Running landing was basically if you were at high density altitude, which means the air is really thin, you wouldn't be able to hold a hover. So if you actually came in your normal approach, if you went to try to hold a hover, you'd crash. So what you do is a running landing, which is you basically come in like an airplane does. It's actually one of my favorite things to do, maneuvers. And you put it down on the skids and you fucking slide, and you're gradually bringing the collective down, which is the thing that looks like the emergency brake. That's your power. You're just gradually bringing it down, creating more and more friction as you stop, and then you're steering, the nose with your feet. And I did well on that. And I thought I did anyways. He's not saying shit. So he told me, he goes, if I'm not saying anything, that doesn't mean you're not doing well, that you're doing fine. And if you see me writing down, that doesn't, I could be taking a lunch order. He was real cool, really put me at ease. So then I did a normal approach, and then I did a steep approach. Then we did the landing off airport shit, and then we did a hover auto. And the hover auto is basically if you were in a hover, like 8 feet off the ground or so, and all of a sudden your engine or your drive train system quit. If the engine quits, it's going to kick it. The nose is going to kick to the left, and then you go right pedal. It's pedal, settle, cushion is what you're supposed to think, right? And we had just done the which is basically you go right pedal to get your nose straight, and then you settle. You're dropping, and right before you hit the ground, you pull the collective up, and that cushions your landing. So he does it, and I'm thinking pedal, settle, cushion, and he does it, and the low RPM horn comes on, and I'm trained like a lab rat to slam the collective down. So I put the collective down, and I was like, no, up. And we landed hard, and then he just goes, now, why would you do that? Why would you do it? I was like, sorry, man. I was nervous, man. You can ask him, like, let me try that again. He goes, all right, do it again. And then I nailed it the second time. But then I was thinking, like, I just fucking flunked it. And the way he said, now, why would you do that? I felt like I was going to pass you, and now I can't. So then we got to do the last thing, the auto rotation. So we fly around, we come in, and he counts it down, 3, 2, 1. We do it. And for a lot of the time, the fucking low RPM horn was on, but I kept it. But I wasn't losing. It was just underneath 97% or whatever, 101%. And then I get it back up in, and then I come back down or whatever. And but I guess it was good enough or whatever. So he goes, all right, I didn't know. So he goes, all right, let's go back to Long Beach. So I'm thinking like, fuck, I just flunked it. Is it over? I don't know what's going on. So we're flying back, and I'm talking to the guy, and he's like a test pilot for these things. And he's telling me all these cool stories and shit. And at that point, we flew over to Torrance. We'd already in Torrance where I did the other half of that shit. So I was just thinking to myself, on the way over there, I was like, you know what? Even if I flunk this fucking thing, how cool is it that I'm doing a check ride in a fucking helicopter right now? If you told me this a year and a half ago, I wouldn't believe it, right? So fuck it. Just keep yourself in that mindset. So we go back to Long Beach, land over at Aeroplex, set it down real nice, and he's not saying anything. And I'm like, I'm not going to ask him. And then I'm thinking, well, ask him. It's not going to change either way, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm taking everything out, and I left the key in the ignition. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because he pointed, he goes, you left your key there. I was like, oh, God. Is that the tipping point? What's going on? So, put the wheels on it. We wheel the thing back. And then right as we start walking back in, he said, all right, you passed. And I couldn't fucking believe it. I couldn't believe it. So there you go. That was my Saturday morning. Old Freckles is officially a licensed pilot, and I am licensed to fly helicopters up to 12,500 pounds. How fucking cool is that, huh? So, anyways, so I know what you're thinking. So what do you do, Bill? You going to go fly around? It's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to go take the advanced auto rotation class because I don't think my reaction time, I didn't like it with the low RPM horn. I didn't think it was quick enough, and I want to get, like, you take that one, like the low RPM that I have to do now to pass my test, I just had to take it down to the flare, which is basically, 40 feet off the ground, gentle aft cyclic, and you're basically killing your airspeed and your descent, and you're basically stopping the air. And then that's when we roll back on the throttle and we fly away. The advanced, you got to take it all the way to the ground. So then you actually come in lower, and then as you drop down, then you, just like the hover auto, you pull the fucking collective to cushion it. And I've watched these guys do it. They're fucking amazing at it. And it's like, I want to be able to do that. If I can fucking do that, then I'll start flying around the LA basin. So, for those of you thinking like, Bill, you're out of your fucking mind, I'm taking it really seriously. And, so I'm going to pass that class and get 200 hours under my belt before I ever take anybody up, I know. But, I still can't fucking believe it. I can't fucking believe it. And the great thing now is that fucking goddamn weight is off of my chest. I passed it. And my instructor told me, he goes, this is the biggest hill to climb as far as like just getting your license, getting through, just starting from fucking zero and getting all the way up there. But, I don't know, getting instrument rated sounds like it's a motherfucker too. It's like 40 fucking hours of that shit. I don't know about that one. So anyways, I hope I didn't bore you with that. Let me, I got to read some of the advertising here. Oh, dude, I'm so fucking relieved that I passed. Thank fucking God. Thank God. If I didn't pass that thing, then I'd have all of June to be sitting there thinking about it and trying to cram in lessons. Thank God. All right. How many more of these fucking things are there? There's 2 more. All right. We'll do 2 and 2. How about that? All right. So anyways, I was reading another fucking thing. You know, I talked how the baby seals are washing up on the shores of the West Coast because the oceans are fished out. Now, on the East Coast of the United States, you got fucking a bunch of turtles are just dying off because there's something like there's too much, because the temperature went up, there's too much algae in the water, which creates something, and which just gets into the fucking turtle shells. It gets them infected, and it actually paralyzes them, and they just drown, and they fucking die. And I'm telling you, I think I finally figured out why they never addressed the population problem. And it's basically because the upper 1% does not view it as a problem. They view it as an opportunity to make more money. You know what I mean? To hoard water and do all of that shit. I was watching this thing on the plane about cities of the future that they're making. I mean, it's apt, like the whole fucking thing is total Big Brother. They're saying everybody is going to start migrating towards the cities. And you have like fucking 8 zillion people living in the city. Who's going to live out in the country? You know, those fat cat rich people. And you know what eventually is going to come? It's going to happen that it's going to be illegal for a regular person to fucking go out into the country. You're going to be shot on sight. It's insane. If they really wanted to be responsible, what they would be doing would be encouraging people to have less children. Let's level off at 7 billion people and let's try to dial it back. You know, dial it down. Everybody has one fucking kid. And then the people who don't have kids, or people who die, or people who can't have kids, or gay people, right? You know, it'll actually cut off more than a half. The way I look at it, right? With a generation could cut itself in half, and then the next generation cuts itself in half, and the next one cuts itself in half, right? And then after, you know, the older generations that had 3 or 4, they all die off. If you have like a string of 4 generations that all had one kid, you can go from 7 billion all the way down to 3.5 million. I think my math is correct on that. I don't fucking know. But they don't bring it up. They don't. They just fucking figuring out new ways to corral people, and we're going to be eating powdered food. It's fucking, it's terrible, man. I don't have anything fucking funny to say about it. Let's go to something funny. Let's talk about soccer. Speaking of billions of goddamn people, all right? Everybody in America doesn't give a fuck about soccer. You know what's funny? Because that FIFA, whatever the fuck they're called, the FIFA, the ruling governing body of World Cup soccer. I don't even know what they are. I'm American. I don't give a shit, right? I really don't. I've finally given up on that sport. I sat down. I tried to fucking watch it. It's so fucking boring, and the crying and laying. I know I've said it a zillion times. I can't, like, if I'm in England or something like that, if there's a Premier League game and I go there, I go to the game and I'm sucking down some beers. Then I could get into it. They're singing songs and shit, and I don't know, whatever. It's like you're in a pub with no seats, right? That's basically what's happening. Well, they are, but you never sit down in it. So anyways, they're in trouble. First of all, this is how big soccer is, by the way. Football. Let me have some respect here. Call it by its real name. Football. All right, for all the fellow Americans that listen to this shit, this is how big World Cup soccer is. They had some big championship match recently that wasn't the World Cup, or maybe it was the World Cup. Let's just say it was the World Cup. The worldwide viewership was 3.5 billion. It was like half the planet. They got a 50 share on the planet. All right? And I was listening to something on NPR, like, to put that into perspective, the Super Bowl had 150 million viewers. So if you're looking at it like a TV show, the Super Bowl would get canceled. It'd be an absolute fucking flop. So that's how big this sport is, and that's how big that fucking league is. So, surprise, surprise, there's a lot of people jockeying to get the championship game in their country. There's a lot of people jockeying to get the fucking TV rights. So there's a lot of payola. There's a lot of kickbacks. There's a lot of coke. There's a lot of horse. Surprise, surprise. So here's the funniest fucking thing, is they're being prosecuted. Some of them, like 9 of them got busted, and one network executive has taken off the fall for an entire fucking network, which is hilarious to me. I'd love to see what his payoff is after he goes to that fucking, white-collar jail. It's probably at the same place where they play Wimbledon, right? And the United States Department of Justice is the one pressing charges. And I'm thinking, like, what in the fuck? How are we involved in this shit? We don't even like the game. This is just going to be another reason for people to fucking hate us. But I guess they did all their shit with American banks. So it fell under our jurisdiction. So not only do we not give a fuck about the game, we're now going to sit there and break their fucking balls about corruption. You know what I mean? Because we don't tolerate corruption here in the United States. Everything's above board over here. Hang on, I got to blow my nose. I apologize. Yeah, it's the stupidest shit ever. Like, there's a fucking zillion dollars at stake. Obviously, there's going to be whores. There's going to be drugs. There's going to be a lot of underhanded shit going on, but nobody got killed, right? The only thing that really I thought was fucked up was they've been accused of fixing a couple of games. I thought that was fucked up. Although if it's done on a worldwide level, and you do it in some shit bum country, and I know you're not supposed to say that, but the fact that I haven't named a shit bum country, can't we all agree that there are shit bum countries? You know what I mean? Because for all you know, I'm not talking about York. There's just like, you know what I mean? There's nice cars, and there's cars that's just like, this really isn't a car. This is a shit box. This was not done correctly. You know what I mean? The physics of it's still fucking working. Look, I'm not saying the trees aren't beautiful. I'm not saying the people aren't beautiful. I'm just saying the way the whole fucking thing's set up, or if it's being crushed by more powerful nations, I'll give you a pass. Shit, I fucked up a hover auto. That guy gave me a pass. I can't give your country a pass. You know what the fuck I'm saying. There's 2 shitty-ass fucking teams playing each other. You know what I mean? To make it interesting, let's fix the game. I don't fucking know. I'm just embarrassed that we're involved in it. And I also think it's fucking hilarious. Huh? The rest of the world, you bunch of scumbags, can't even run a fucking legitimate league like we do here in the United States, the National Football League. There's an upstanding that's an upstanding league. It's all fucking corrupt. It's all corrupt. We take money from fucking cancer to buy yachts and act like we're fucking helping out people who are sick. Those fucking cunts over here in France, what do they do, right? The whole fucking bike thing is filthy from top to bottom. Lance Armstrong figures it out, goes, all right, that's how the game's played. I'm going to play it better than anybody else. Those fucking assholes, they couldn't catch him. They had to wait to 10 years later where they froze his fucking urine or some shit because they finally had a test advanced enough to catch the guy. I actually feel like the statute of limitations sort of run out on that. I don't mind corruption in sports unless you're like fixing the game. You know what I mean? If you're actually fixing the outcome of the game, then that bugs me. But as far as like performance enhancing drugs and like cycling, I don't give a shit. All right? These people are riding a bicycle 60 miles an hour up and down a fucking mountain. They're obviously on something, and everybody's on something. All right? They're all on something. At that point, it becomes fair, I think. And I say, let them do the drugs. Let them do the drugs. Let's see the side effects. Let's adjust them. And then once it's all safe, give it to me. Give it to a guy like me. Right? I'm turning 47 in a few weeks. I'd love to get the spring in my step back. You know? Wish it was a steroids for your hair. Wouldn't that be amazing? If you had like fucking Mark McGuire, like his forearms, you had that level hair. Every once in a while, I'll see a guy like that, like my age with hair like that. It's just like, dude, you got no fucking idea how fucking lucky you are, you motherfucker. All right, let me read some of the questions here for this week. We're up to 41 minutes here. All right. Sinatra comparison. Hey, Billy Big Leagues. This week on Billy Check Ride. Oh, Billy Big Day. I recall a few months back you mentioned Frank Sinatra at the end of his career. Well, driving down Highway 80, I saw a billboard for the Silver Legacy Casino in Reno with you and Frank Sinatra Jr. sharing the same weekend as well as the same billboard. Oh, man, I'd love to meet the guy. Maybe this will drive you further to become that slumlord you've always dreamed about being. After you retire from comedy, I'll try to take a picture of it the next time I pass it. Can't wait to see you in Sacramento. Thanks and go fuck yourself. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I told you guys that story, like the way Sinatra retired the right way the first time. And whatever that line he had that ended that song, he was standing in the spotlight. It was something like, excuse me while I, step aside or something. And he just steps out of the light and that was it. And he was gone. And it's like, that's the way you fucking do it. But he kept coming back and it's just, and that was Sinatra. Sinatra had to make a comeback. So I understand how this business works. Like how quickly they forget about you and all that type of shit. So having said all that, I would love to meet Frank Sinatra Jr. Wonder if I can do that when I'm out there. Well, you know what? Actually, in Reno has one of my favorite stores in the country. It's Bazaar Guitar and Gun Shop. I told you about this. Same guy owns it. It's a strip mall. 2 stores. One side is this sick ass place with all these guns. Every gun you've seen from every fucking Stallone movie back in the day. Awesome guns. And then the other one is guitars. And you walk in the guitar place, it looks like a normal place, but downstairs is where he has his real collection, this giant fucking safe. He has like the 3rd Fender guitar ever made. Just there was like millions and millions of dollars worth of vintage guitars downstairs. So I'm a big fan of Reno. I am a big fan of Reno. I actually like it better than Vegas. I don't know why. I'm just one of those fucking people. I like those kinds of cities better. The ones that are still trying. Instead of the ones that are like, yeah, we're the shit. Everything's a fuck over. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? It's hilarious to say. I like those kinds of things as I'm sitting here in Paris. All right, Periscope. Hey, dear Billy Gates. I'm sure it's fucking annoying having people stick their phone in your face for the people watching on Periscope. That being said, I think you would kill it on there. Just once or twice a week, you should go on and rev your truck engine while hollering in your southern accent. Or pester the shit out of Mia. It's Nia with an N, people. N. The lovely Nia. N, like Axl Rose. Sha-na-na-na-na-na, knees. Pester the shit out of Nia while she's trying to read a book. Love the podcast. Now, Periscope, this is why I don't like Periscope. Periscope is people just walk in, like comics are doing that now. They just walk in with it on. Like, hey, walking backstage at the Comedy Store. It's like, dude, shut that fucking thing off. It's like, if you want to turn your life into a TV show, more power to you. But everybody's chilling out here. It's like when I do this podcast, I decide what the fuck I'm going to tell you about and what I'm not going to tell you about. And what I'm going to leave and what I'm going to take out. In case you didn't understand what I just said previously. I literally just said the same thing 2 times in a row. Whatever. I don't have my headphones on. My headphones are like my fucking lightsaber. It's my security blanket. I don't have them on. I'm feeling naked, okay? I'm feeling very fragile. For someone else to just come walking in, it's fucking annoying as shit. And I advocate we got to come up with something for people who don't like Periscope. I don't know what to call it, but here's a working title, the Periscope Slap, which is basically somebody comes in and with their phone and they're holding it up to their face, you just fucking slap it right down to the floor, right? And then you do Bruce Lee's finishing move when he kills him, which is a stomp and then a twist. And you got to do the when you do it. It'd be perfect. And then somebody else films that, right? No, don't film it because then they'll have evidence. You should do, or just, you know what I mean? Or you walk around with a water bottle. You know, like you do for like a fucking cat that won't get off the couch. And when somebody comes in just doing Periscope without asking you, you just spray the water at, ruin their phone. Something like that. I advocate. I mean, last week I advocated killing your boss. I actually felt bad about that because I just thought about like, what if somebody actually went out and did it? The world is so fucked up, I could actually get sued and be like, you know, it was irresponsible, but blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, you don't think that person's a maniac, listens to a podcast, like, hey, go commit a murder. And then they go, okay, you told me to do it. You owe me money. Yeah, don't kill your boss. But I advocate slapping the fucking phone out of somebody's hand. Slap it right down to the ground, stomp on it, twist it. Knowing full well that you're going to have to pay for it, but you're preserving your privacy. There's got to be a politically correct way to say it. You're a privacy warrior. Sorry. Oh, fuck you. You come up with a goddamn name for it. All right. You know what's funny? It's my wife's birthday. Tomorrow is her birthday. And she's a fucking smarty pants, and she always figures out what the fuck I get her. And this year, I totally threw her off. Totally fucking threw her off. She's got no fucking clue where I'm going to take her, what I'm going to do. Well, she knows it's somewhere in Paris, but she has no idea. And right now, this might be a lie. This might be a lie, just in case one of you cunts decides to tweet, oh, Bill's going to do something fucking blah, 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 blah to her. You don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. All right? I'm going to tell you right now, I only have 50% of an idea what the fuck I'm going to do. All right? So don't even try to figure it out. All right? It's fucking useless. It's a waste of your time. Favorite music video? Downtown Billy Brown. Nice fucking reference. I absolutely fucking love Downtown Judy Brown. I had the biggest fucking crush on her. When I first moved to New York, in like 95, 96, I went to some benefit thing, this hoity-toity thing, where my manager at the time knew a bigger manager who was managing a big comic. And we got to tag along, and I went there, and she was standing, just hanging out at the thing. She was fucking gorgeous. Fucking gorgeous. All right. Too early to get into comedy. No such thing, sir. Dear Bill, I'm 17 and just did my first open mic at a coffee shop. I got a few laughs and a few awkward silences, but overall, I enjoyed it. I really want to go to a comedy club soon so I don't have to be so selective about my words. Any advice to someone this young looking to get into this? P.S. I know bombing is part of the process. Problem is I have paper-thin skin. Does your hide thicken up after a while of bombing? All right, two things. Any advice on somebody looking to get into this? Dude, you're already into it. It's like you just shot heroin, and now you're asking me about heroin. Like you already did it. Now you're hooked, and you already want to go down to a comedy club. You started at 17. That's not too early. That's fucking great. And don't listen to the fucking older people who are jealous. They'll be like, dude, you're 17. You got nothing to talk about. You got nothing to talk about. And then watch them go on stage and see what the fuck they're talking about. Doing shit jokes. Wait, am I talking about myself? Don't listen to them. All right? This is the deal. You're young, and there's going to be a lot of people fucking jealous. Okay? And then if you're a guy, there's going to be a couple of old fucking lady comics that are going to try to bang you. Stay away from them. If you're a female, just stay away from anybody who tells jokes because they're all going to try to bang you. So it's a job. Go down there and get better at it. Surround yourself with positive, motivated people that you feel are going to make it. And they're not doing this just fucking around. And you guys will all feed off of each other's drive. That's what happened to me in Boston when I started. I started with Dane and Patrice O'Neill, rest his soul. And we were down at Nick's Comedy Stop, down on Warrington Street in Boston. We were down there every fucking night, unless we had a gig elsewhere. And even then, a lot of times we would drive back in there. We were there every fucking night. And I remember one of the great compliments I got when I first started out. This guy came walking in, and I was already there, writing down my jokes. And he looked at me, he said, "Dude, you are everywhere." And it's just like, yeah, I am. So that's what you got to be, dude. And you can't just do like comedy clubs. You got to do stand up anywhere you can. And as far as bombing, yes, it is part of the process. I had a paper thin skin. I was shy. I was introverted. I had all of that, and it just was fucking all when you were bombing. It was just sucks. It just sucks in the beginning. But the same way you learn how to kill, you're going to learn how to bomb, and you're going to learn how to hold your ground, and you'll have poise while bombing. And then when you get to a really high level of bombing, is you'll begin to understand if you're bombing, because if it's your fault, if it's the crowd's fault, if it's the setup, if it's half the crowd, half you, if it's 60% you, and that to me is the best thing. If you figure out it's you, then you just start making fun of yourself. If you figure out it's them, you start giving them shit, and they loosen up a little bit. If it's a little bit in the middle, you sort of make fun of yourself while you're ribbing them. You'll figure out the whole recipe to the thing. But, I think it's great. It takes a lot of balls, 17 to start out. So, my hat is off to you. All right. Helicopter loser. Hi, Bill. And in quotes it said, "Oh my God, I'm a loser. I'll never own a helicopter. I'm a disgrace." And they said that's from Bill Burr, emotionally unavailable. That's quoting one of my jokes. It said, "Do you remember saying this during the MTV Cribs bit? Feel like you made it now, big shot? Helicopter guy, go fuck yourself. But seriously, well done on the helicopter driving." Thank you. Oh, yeah, I remember that bit. I didn't know that I said helicopter, but I remember talking about how MTV Cribs, how you would watch that show and you just end up feeling like a fucking loser because it was all like these, am I really going to say Britney Spears twice in this fucking podcast? Yes, it is 2015. All those fucking people's houses back then. Cisco's house, the one-hit wonders too, they all had Bentleys and all of this shit, and it made you feel like a loser. Here's a fucking inside joke, inside story on that. All right? When I did that bit, one night I did it at the Comedy Cellar, and the late, great Greg Giraldo, rest his soul, he came up to me after I did the bit. He goes, "Dude," he goes, "just to let you know, I have a bit on MTV Cribs, and it's almost word for word the exact same bit. It's the exact same angle. And both of us were just in a part of our career where we were writing our hours, and I didn't have anything else. And I was just like, man, it's like neither one of us wanted to drop. You have to have the conversation. Usually someone's like, "I'll drop it." "No, you do it." Nah, you know. And I've usually been the one that I was always like, I'll drop it, because I didn't want any of my shit, somebody else seeing somebody else doing it and then thinking I'm stealing. So we both just sat there going like, stare at the floor, and then we both just started laughing, going like, all right, we'll only do that joke on the road. So me and Giraldo had this gentleman's agreement that even though we didn't steal from each other, but we basically had the exact same bit, that we would only do it on the road. So that's what happened, and we never really talked about it again. And we both just kind of forgot that we kind of had the same joke. And then like the same season, we both got a half hour on Comedy Central. and we both did the bit. And I remember my special came out first, and I remember getting an email and somebody going, "Hey bro, just to let you know, Greg Giraldo stole your MTV Cribs bit. And I went like, oh, fuck, that's right. He's got the same thing. So I emailed the kid back, told him the story. And then I called Giraldo, and we both just started laughing. And we were trying to guess which one of us was going to be, called a joke thief more. Wow. That was way back. Way back. That was like 2002. Oh my God, I'm a loser. I'll never own a helicopter. I'm a disgrace. Jesus Christ. That's fucked. I remember saying that. Here I am, years later. All right, let me read a couple more of these advertising things here, and then I can wrap this podcast up, and hopefully I'll be able to upload this with the Euro fucking internet here. Please tell me that's not wind chimes. Is that a fucking telephone? I'm not answering that shit. Hello, this is Louis. All right. There we go. So, before I check out here and begin my fucking vacation here, what are you going to do, Bill? You know what I'm going to do? I'm not doing shit. I'm going to sit in the cafes and, I don't know, eat some of their food. I forget what that beer was that I liked the last time I was over here. I'm looking forward to doing that. But to be honest with you, I just want to chill out, not be an asshole, and make sure my wife has a good time, to be honest with you. That's going to be my attempt. Because I don't want to end up like that guy. That guy was fucking depressing. I felt bad, like his wife was just sitting there taking it. One of those old school fucking women. Just... Someone needed to take her aside and be like, you can't take this from this guy. You got to fucking slap him around or something. I don't know what. So anyways, let's talk about the NHL Finals, which I'm going to fucking miss over here unless I can find an NHL bar. I know. You can watch it online with the password, and I'll probably fuck it up. But anyways, Blackhawks versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going to tell you something right now. Jonathan Taves, that guy, he is in the process of being one of those guys who they're going to be selling his jersey like 20 years from now. And little kids in 20 years are going to know who he is. That fucking guy, like, he's just a man. That guy just fucking steps up. That Game 7... against the Ducks, and congratulations to the Ducks too. Man. What a season they had! Just a great fucking team. Just Game 7, they're on the road in Anaheim, and just right in the first 2 minutes, just shuts the crowd the fuck up with a goal, and then scores another one. End of first period, it's 2-0, and Taves scored both fucking goals. It's just the guy he's the shit. So I don't know. Who isn't a fan of greatness? So usually I like the underdog, and I like Tampa Bay, and I really like Steve Yzerman and everything that he's done with that thing. So if Tampa Bay wins, I'll also be happy. But obviously just having a player like Taves get a third is it's great for the game, and it's also great for Chicago because then now when they do their whole the great people of who are the greats of Chicago sports, right? Bobby Hull, Walter Payton, Michael Jordan, and then Taves is going to be right in there, right? He gets his third. They gotta have a great Ernie Banks. Who's a great White Sox? How do I know that? Shoeless Joe Jackson from the fucking Black Sox. I hate that they call them the Black Sox. It's like, no, they were the fucking White Sox. And they fixed the World Series. Now that, my friends, that was cheating. Fucking air pressure. I'll never get over it. Anyways, so obviously I think the Blackhawks are going to win just because they're so deep in the experience they have, but I'm really bummed out that I'm not going to fucking see it. I'll figure out a fucking way to do it. And then what's the other one we got here? Oh, let me sit in this fucking antique chair. I hope it doesn't break. What Who else is it? Oh, LeBron versus what's his face? Steph Curry. I don't know shit about basketball. All I know is Curry's one of the most amazing basketball players I've ever seen in my life. But I got to be honest with you, I am so sick of a close-up on his face while he's chewing his mouthpiece. It's fucking gross. Okay? Just keep it in your fucking... I hate that shit. You know what it's going to do? Because he's so good, it's going to inspire an entire generation of young kids to walk around with their chewing on their fucking mouthpiece after every fucking play because they want to be like him. You know, remember when you wanted to be like Mike? You just stuck your tongue out and tried to dunk as you floated in sideways. Then you just tripped and fell. Now they're going to have that thing hanging out of their mouth. But I don't know who to root for there. I love the whole thing that if LeBron came back and won one for fucking Cleveland, that they could finally quit their fucking whining all the time about how awful their sports situation is. But then on the other side, I like Golden State, man. Golden State to me, like that team is like, what was that Will Ferrell movie? Semi-Pro? Like to me, Golden State is like, they got the sickest floor in the NBA. But before they had it, man, like where they play is just old school sports. There's not a lot of venues like that anymore. I went to a game there a long time ago when they played the Spurs. David Robinson was still on the team. He was in street clothes, though. And what's-his-face was really young. Captain, the big fundamental there, whatever the fuck his name is. But anyways, they had the sickest live band there. So, you know what? This is tough. I think I got to go. I got to go for the Warriors. You know why? Because Al Madrigal is a Warriors fan, and he's the fucking driving force behind the All Things Comedy Network. There you go. That tipped it in favor. I know you're like, what about Jason Lawhead? What about Jason Lawhead? Well, you know what? The Buckeyes won it this year, so he's already got a championship, so I'm rooting for the Warriors. There you go. I'm rooting for the Warriors, and I'm rooting for the Blackhawks, the greatness of Jonathan Taves. I want to see him get his third one, and plus original 6. And I also got to be honest with you, the fucking Blackhawks, that home jersey, which used to be the away, that red one, that's one of the best jerseys in all of fucking sports. All right, that's the deal, everybody. Thank you to everybody that's listening. I'm in a generous move here. I'm still going to tell you to go fuck yourselves, but I'm just so fucking psyched I finally got the helicopter thing done. And then I can now go on to actually really learn how to fly the fucking thing, which is really what your pilot's license is. It's a license to learn, they say. So I got to get on that shit. So that is it. I'm going to do another goddamn comedy jam coming up this month. So I got to get my drumming chops back together. I've been nothing but helicopters this month. So brought my little fucking pad over here. You know, I'm going to paradiddle my fucking way back into drumming shape for when I come back. I forget what date that is, but they'll have it up on their website. As always, please.